Okay, we are here at our FIL studio. I was just in a honestly riveting conversation with Anna Breiser because she's incredible, and it was just a year ago, right? How many days a year ago?
Today is I don't know, it was on the 8th of February, so 4 days ago, I think.
8th of February, she won a silver medal in Beijing, and it was incredible and emotional. But she has to go warm up, so I want to ask her a little bit. But yes, we're here. It's day 2 of Winterberg. We're here at the women's start, getting ready for the women's competition. And everybody was here. Everyone's coming to take a look at the track in the ice conditions. We were chatting about it before. A little frosty. Does that change your mood about sliding?
It changed from the training, yeah. So we don't know, or I don't know if the sled is going to work out, but I will do my best. I see the conditions, and they also put a lot of work now in the start more. So it's better than in the training, so I think it should be good.
Okay, we'll see. The ice conditions have been playing a lot with doubles yesterday, so I'm excited to see everyone's sled set up and how it works. But okay, we were talking about her music, so I don't know if you remember, but Champion from a couple weeks ago, and we talked about what you play, and you were playing, was it Bass Neck? No. Papa Roach.
Papa Roach, Last Resort was my song of the World Championships.
She has a world, and when we interviewed after her, she was like so zen, and she's just so in it. So anyways, the playlist today, she's made a playlist called Olympic Ultimate. What is on? Oh, here's our water guy. Hello, thank you for doing all the track work and making it really fast for us. Yes, now it looks nice. Now you have the nice...
Yeah, maybe wait a couple of minutes and then it's getting frosty, but it's the weather.
Okay, so what's on the playlist for today?
I will just put it on shuffle and we will see. And then once I get in warming up, there's one song and it gets me, and then that's the song.
Okay. So when you win today, will you share with us that song? We can pass it because everybody, you're a champion, so they're like, I need to warm up like her. Kids, I mean, this is what I thought when I watched people warming up, but I think today will be a good day. How are you feeling about it?
I'm feeling okay today. I have a little bit of a neck issue, so I hope that will be okay after warming up. But for now, I'm good. I'm down to have a good run. 2 good runs, and then a third one hopefully in the sprint, so we will see.
Okay, I love it. I'll let you go. Thank you for hanging out with us. I know she has a whole schedule of, wait, do you have it? Can we show them on your phone?
Yeah, sure.
Get this. I thought this was cool. So they each get their bib number, and then she works backwards on her schedule for the day. I don't know if the camera can see this, but we can just hold it up. So she starts at around 11:05. Seeing get changed?
Yeah.
And then her warm up, and then this is when she comes to the track. So she is dialed out, ready to go. So I don't want to mess up your schedule.
I need this. I just need this. So I have enough time left, so it's okay. But I need scripted. Otherwise, I get confused.
I think it's smart. Well, and the times are different every weekend, and it's I could see that for sure. So you did say you're like, I don't know if my sled's gonna run today. What does that mean? For anyone that doesn't know what that means, how would you describe that?
You have a certain setup for your sled, and in training we had this ice conditions with very cold, very hard ice, and you put basically we put the sled up for this ice conditions, and now you have whole different situation with a pretty, I think, warm ice and lots of humidity in the air, and it gets it's frosting, and also with the geometry of the steels, it's not always good for every ice, but you never know, and sometimes you say, okay, this is not going to work, and in the end it works. So maybe it's one of this day today or another day. So
that's what makes it fun. Yeah. It's a coin toss. Well, okay, Curtis, come check out this start really quick. And I would love, it's complicated. It's a complicated start. Explain to us why. Obviously you can't see down through the track because there's a wall right there. So this makes it difficult because these women have to pretty much paddle around, which is hard. Starts are difficult enough to go straight, so now you have to work around it. So how do you walk someone through your thoughts on how to do this?
So I'm honest, I'm thinking too much about this start. It's a 50-50 chance to mess it up today, but I hope not so. In training it went it was only one half start I messed up, so I think I'm good today. I hope so, and I will do my best. But you never know, and it's one time you're a little bit too much on the left side, and then it's fucked up. Sorry, but you have to go around this edge, and there are so many different types of going around this edge, and for me personally, I did not find the right one yet. So it's always different here. Also with the ice conditions, maybe it's when it's like the ice is getting more, it's hanging to the right side. It's like very hard. Sometimes it's more to the left side. I think this week is good. Like when we were here in November, it was not so good.
So, because is it set up more for men's start right there or bob start?
I don't know, but I think for men's start, it's not so important how the ice is, like the angle. Yeah. For us, it's very important. It can decide whether to fuck up or not.
Do you think that they would ever send the women from the men's start? Would you be game?
I would go. Here I would go. There are tracks I maybe not so confident. I would not be so confident, but it's always depends on training and how you feel. For me, as a German athlete, I have a good luge education. I don't know about other athletes. They don't have these much runs from the younger ages, and I don't know if they're so confident going from the men's start. So I think it's a point of the future. I know, but. It depends on the smaller nations, and when you get the smaller nations not to go up to the men's start, which nations to go, like Germany, Austria, and maybe USA, I don't know, that's not enough for the sport. So maybe that's not the goal, to get everybody from one start.
Okay, well, I'll cross my fingers for it, because I think that's good. It's like the women's doubles are doing it, so it's like, well, we could do it. Well, not me anymore, but that'd be so cool. But maybe it's a controversial, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. It's okay to have this opinion, but I don't feel unfortunate to go from a lower start than the men's. Because, we have this start, and when the men's have to go from this start, they struggle a lot. And we also see that in Innsbruck with the starting corner. We have always like the start, and the first corner is always very hard for the girls. We have few starts where it's not hard for us. So I think just because we're women, we are not like weaker because we go from a lower start.
Interesting. Thank you for sharing that knowledge about it. Very cool. I appreciate you talking to us. I know it's your race day and you've got stuff to do. So but Ison, of course, she's so chill on race day, which is why she's great at the sport. But we just cut some highlights from yesterday. Do you remember who won yesterday?
The Tobis.
The Tobis won, and then
Degenhardt Rosenthal, also a German team, and also Max from Germany.
It was a big day. It was a big day for the Come, test the ice. Yeah, he can do it. But she's right. It was Germans who won just about everything. So if you missed it, here are your highlights from day one here in Winterberg.
Day one in Winterberg, Germany, stop number 7 on the Eberspecher World Cup Tour. Austria's Egle and Kipp were in 3rd place after the first run and managed to bump up after the difficulties that Italian teams Vetter and Oberhofer had on their last run. They dropped to 3rd place but still secured a medal in the race. But of course, on a German track, it was Germans Jessica Degenhardt and Cheyenne Rosenthal who dominated this race. Every run, you could see their home track advantage. Beautiful lines, beautiful form, the confidence that comes with being on home ice. A big win for the Germans as they head in to the Sprint World Cup final, and to be determined is the overall title for the Sprint World Cup. Top 15 qualify, 10 sleds in the race. All of them will qualify for the Sprint World Cup. A look at the overall standings for women's doubles and the podium. The overall World Cup standings, Vetter and Oberhofer remain in the lead, but Degenhardt and Rosenthal are closing in with the combined points of Sprint World Cup and the regular World Cup races. In men's, it was a wild race as Felix Locke, who is quite ill right now and did not train most of the week, had trouble on his first run but bounced up past many sleds in order to make it onto the podium. Austria's Jonas Müller who was early off in the rankings due to a not-so-great Nations Cup. He held a second-place position for nearly 20 sleds and showed that that is what he came to do on the second heat and held his spot for a silver medal in the men's singles race. Max Langenhahn of Germany continues his hot streak of wins, his third win since coming back on tour in a row after fracturing his hand. And wow, has he had a season, a solid win, 0.3 of a second, a lifetime in luge for Max Langenhahn to take that win. The men's singles finals was Max Langenhahn, of course, with the win. Jonas Mueller in second, Felix Locke in third. Dominik Fischnaller dropped to fourth, but remains in the lead in the overall rankings. For men's singles, that's Felix Locke that passed him by minimal points. Dominik Fischnaller dropping to second, but in the overall, Dominik Fischnaller still has the lead over Felix Locke when you combine the points of the Sprint World Cup. In men's doubles, it was quite a wild ride. Eggert and Bennekin had to come back from a not great first run time-wise. Clean lines, some magic setup change brought them back up onto the podium and passed many sleds on the way. The track record holders, however, did not win this race. And it was the young pair from Latvia, Bots Plume, as their fans call them, the robots, who managed to continue a podium streak and some great racing for this young team. Third place for Bots Plume here in Winterberg. And taking the win was Tobias Wendel and Tobias Arlt, who unquestionably dominated this race from start to finish, from run one to run two. They showed that they came here with the right setup and the right form to take a big win on home ice. With a big hometown crowd on hand, cheering them on. The final results, Wendel Arlt in first, Eggert Bennekin jumping up to second, and Bots Plume maintaining that third place position. Austrians, who were up in the mix, faltered on the second heat, dropping just off the podium. In the men's doubles World Cup standings, it's Wendel and Arlt barely edging out their teammates, Eggert and Bennekin, and then in the overall, again, Wendel and Arlt edging out Eggert and Bennekin, and that is day one of Winterberg.
Thank you so much, Bree, for those beautiful highlights. Okay, so I was just talking to Anna Breiter, and we jumped straight into the interview that I really actually want to talk more about this, but yeah, it's kind of complicated up here, and she was talking lightly about it. I'm gonna step right here if this is okay. So this is going to be a major part of the race here for women. So obviously it's not a straight shot. You have to navigate around. So here are the problems with this. If you settle too soon, like let's imagine you settle before this like left bank, then you have to steer with your legs around, which you may not be going fast enough to be able to do that. So that's really difficult. So what you have to do is you have to paddle through the curve essentially, but you have to kind of turn. Like these women have timed, like, okay, I'm going to go 2 paddles straight. The third one, I'm going to try and go diagonal, and then hopefully I can get a fourth in. But that settle is going to be changing everything. So I don't know. It's going to be an interesting start for a lot of these women. Like Anna said, it's kind of a 50-50 shot, but the camera angle that you're going to see on TV is going to make it look a lot easier than what it actually is. So just imagine this isn't a straight shot. These women have to literally paddle diagonally, and then sometimes the settle will mess them up too. So anyways, I just feel like Anna's a professional, so she's like, yeah, this start's hard, but this is a big part of it, the start time. So watch for the start times, watch what they're doing, because it's going to be complicated. And then also the track is pretty flat. If not, it goes up just slightly. So the speed that they are generating at the top right here is going to change everything for these women. So I'm just trying to add more color to the sport and try and make it, because what the athletes are thinking is so much more than what you guys are seeing. And I want to, I don't know, give light. No, come on, Sandy, come on. You can come look. This is what they're doing. They're coming up. They're looking at the start. Sandy, it's a complicated start. Yeah, it's a lot. Yeah, so she's going, you got to try and get the eye down, and then you try and visualize kind of what's happening. And even after, when we haven't been shooting, women are coming up and trying to eye the start because it's such a big part of it. So, so we're going to show you what it's actually like. If these women get through the start clean, then they got to get down the rest of the track. We're going to show you what it's like to be on a sled, to go down this track. Siobhan Forgan from USA, she did our POV video for us. We showed it yesterday, but now you get to see it again to see what it's going to be like for these women.
This is men's start in Winterberg. Okay, so this is from the top of the track. I'm going to be telling you about the track, but I've never actually been from this start. So I'm just going to do my best. All right, this is a pretty steep and long start ramp. It's not too tricky. This is curve 0. A lot of the athletes struggle with this curve because it's sort of like nothing right after the start too, so that's a little tricky. We're going into curve 1. It's very short, pretty simple up here. This is curve 2. This is kind of where it starts to get tricky. It's very flat through here, so everything that happens is very important. This is a really long curve, and you can sort of see when athletes are looping through there. That's a lot of time. We are into curve 3, back to a smaller curve. Not a lot going on in here, just trying to find some speed. Into 4. This is also where the double start starts from, so I'm getting a little bit more familiar now. Again, it's all very flat up here, so it's very technical when you're trying to find time. We're going into curve 5. Not a lot happening, still just very flat. Quickly into curve 6. This is an important curve because it sets you up for Kreisel. This Kreisel is a little different than other Kreisels on the track on different tracks because it's so close to the top. So you're going very slow through here. Well, very slow relatively. And it's, again, still pretty flat. We're going into curve 8. And then this is curve 9. This one is actually where I think it starts to get fun. This curve drops a lot, and you can kind of feel yourself picking up speed in here. This sort of just looks like a continuation of 9, but it's actually curve 10. Me from double start, I barely get onto this curve. From men's start, I'm guessing you get on a little bit more. 11 is a longer curve. You can sort of see when athletes are looping in here again, so you can tell when people are offline. We're going fast now. Into 12, this is the start of the labyrinth. It's a small labyrinth, but this is really a lot of fun down here. Curve 13, and then the big finish curve. This goes super uphill. It's a really long curve. Sometimes you'll see athletes flip off the end. We have done that before. It's not fun. This was Siobhan Forgan. I am a doubles athlete with Sophie Kirkby, and this was Winterberg track.
So there's just a little look at what it's like to take a sled down a track. Thank you, Siobhan, for doing that. Every track is different, but it's pretty much just a wild water slide with ice, so you just don't want to crash because you can get some pretty good ice burn going into it. So we are getting ready. Day 2 of Winterberg, headed into the women's start, not the start competition, but into the women's start for the competition. Bree is in the booth with my friend Eddie. I'm happy to see you guys there. Bree, how are you guys doing? What's going on?
We're doing great. We were just talking weather, talking about the view, giving the personal perspective of ice conditions. I was explaining to Eddie here that, you know, based on how much sweatier it is in the booth today, that it looks like the ice conditions might deteriorate pretty fast, Kate.
Yeah, a lot of the athletes up here were saying that once they spritz, the ice flowers, this is what Sasha said yesterday in the interview, the ice flowers will come up and make it really frosty. So it's the sleds at the end of the race they're going to have to watch for it, but I'll let you guys break down what your thoughts are on the race.
Excellent. Thanks, Kate. So what Kate was just telling me was that some of the athletes she was talking to yesterday, Eddie, was that once a few athletes have gone, the ice flowers come up on the track, which is another way of saying frost. So, you know, you were telling me that in Winterberg, they tend to keep the ice conditions pretty good.
Yeah, they're trying their best, but sometimes it's difficult with this kind of weather, when it's foggy, when it's raining, when
Yeah.
it's hot outside.
Yeah, and it seems a bit warmer than yesterday. It's quite foggy, and I think we're going to see that at the start again, like yesterday, where it's that eerie mist up there that the athletes kind of dive into the clouds. Now, what do you think it is about Winterberg that allows them, with fog all of the time, to keep the ice conditions?
I think the track crew just do their best, and they are ready for it because they just keep hitting on this problem like almost every year. Someday it needs to happen.
Right. It's very Winterberg. They're used to it, and they did a great job yesterday. It seemed like when Emily Sweeney and I were watching the race, because you guys have a much longer race with the men's singles, and it seemed like the time stayed pretty consistent. So what do you think is going to, if the track is consistent, what will be the big key in this race here for the women?
If the track is consistent, I think start will be a very solid point, because that flat surface means that you need the speed from the very first beginning. And then down to bottom, who managed to do the smoothest transitions into labyrinth.
Yeah, the 12, 13, 14.
Yeah.
Whew, that gets so tricky from the top. Summer Bircher was explaining to me that the start is really flat here. So with a hurt shoulder, that's too many paddles.
Yeah, that's true. And actually, there is a small curve that you need to do in the start. It's not like a straight line, so you need to focus on that too.
Yeah.
Focus on having a powerful start, not messing up.
Yeah.
You need to focus on a lot of things here.
Right. And how is it different for the women? It's kind of hilariously, the starts are right next to each other.
Yeah, it's only that steep ramp that it separates us.
Yeah. So I'm sure we'll see this later in the live race, but how does that affect the women with the angle they enter that? What do you guys call it? Just curve zero? Not a curve?
Some of us just call it curve zero. Some of us just ignore it.
The curve we do not speak of. I think it's from Harry Potter.
Act like it's not there and it's good.
Yeah, the dark mark.
So from ladies, when I slide it from there, I'd rather stay on the middle than go a little bit to the left. Then I need to go a little bit to the right.
I see. And it's slow enough that you can steer around it.
Yes, but also it's flat enough so you can't really steer.
Oh, right, because you don't have enough speed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we just got our 2-minute warning, so I am going to pass it back to Kate, and be sure to switch channels to watch the live race on YouTube.
Thank you so much, Bree. Eddie is correct. He kind of reiterated just all the stuff with the start and how complicated it is. So we're a little cramped up here, so I don't know. There's not really as much to show you. The volunteers are getting ready. Curtis can't see behind him, so I'm directing him. So this is about the space that we're here. Yep, you go, China. Do your thing. This is what we're working with here. You stay there. I will narrate from back here. We've got coaches over there. We've got volunteers there. They're going to be weighing the sleds there. And then this is all lined up for sleds to kind of hang out, get their sled temps. And then there is the start right there, which they will be on live TV, broadcast across the world. So Curtis is a swivel, and he can't really go very far. But yeah, here's coaches getting temps. They're getting ready, and I believe Korea is first. They're going to be one of the first sleds off. So, and then China is right behind. So we're doing our best from up there, but this is kind of what sliding is like. Every venue is different. Every place works differently. So we're working around. So, but most of the trucks, I want to see if we can show you vision. All the trucks that they're doing steel work is actually up above here. So all the athletes are in here, warming up, getting changed, and then all the trucks up there, all the sleds are getting worked on inside of the trucks, and they're getting sled temped up there. So they don't come down until they absolutely have to. So we might not see as much action at the start as we normally see, but that's kind of the layout. That's what we have going on here. So we are getting ready. They're about to send our first sled